A few years ago, I did an experiment on Tinder that proves why online dating is absolutely the worst way to meet girls. And in my opinion, it should be completely avoided, and instead you should learn how to meet girls in the real world. So basically what I did was I made a couple of fake accounts on Tinder just to see the inner workings of the online dating world. Maybe this was a morally questionable thing to do, but I was doing it 100% for experimental purposes only. And the reason I did this experiment was because I've never actually used online dating myself, and I had a few suspicions about it that I just wanted to test out and experimentally verify. The reason that I've never used online dating is because I made a vow to myself many years ago to never use it after I tested it out for just a few days when I was traveling in China, and it turned out that every single attractive girl on the app that I was using was either a prostitute or a scam artist trying to get money. So basically it was just a complete waste of my time, and I took that as a sign that I should just completely avoid online dating altogether and continue with what I had recently started doing at that time, which was approaching girls on the streets. So to me, this was like a clear message that trying to take the easy road, which is what online dating basically is, was just a complete waste of time and energy. And this experiment that I did on Tinder a few years after that proves this beyond any doubt, at least for me personally. So basically what I did was I bought 1 month of Tinder Gold, and I don't know how it works now, but that let me see how many likes I was getting. And then I made 2 fake accounts. The first was with pictures of a girl that I actually dated in Russia who was a fashion model, and the second was with a male model that I just got pictures off the internet. Basically, I just wanted to see how many likes each of these accounts would get to compare the results of a male and female of similar levels of physical attractiveness. And what happened was that with the girl profile, after 24 hours in a small city in Canada, she got almost 5,000 likes, like 5,000 guys who would be more than willing to be with her. And I let that sit for a couple more days, and it got up to almost 10,000. And then I deleted that account and switched to the male model. And after 24 hours, he got what might seem like a substantial amount, which was about 500 likes, but that's 10 times less than the account of a girl of a similar level of physical beauty. So basically, if you have a male and a female of similar levels of attractiveness, the female has 10 times the results of the male. This leads to an extreme imbalance, which in my opinion is basically the cause of all the problems that everyone keeps complaining about, both male and female, about how modern dating is so terrible. Yes, the reason is because people are using online dating apps, which never even used to exist just a couple decades ago. And I'll explain the implications of what this kind of imbalance really means in a second. But just think about this. Like, I actually dated this girl in Russia that got like 10,000 likes on Tinder within a few days. And I'll admit, I didn't actually sleep with her. Like, I probably could have if I had more time and if I went on a couple more dates with her. We did go on 3 dates, but sometimes in Russia and in Eastern Europe, the girls just take a bit longer. But the point is that this was someone who I was actually seeing, and I have dated other girls as hot or hotter than her, but there's absolutely no way that I would be able to do that on Tinder. I didn't actually do an experiment with my own pictures, but I imagine it would have been probably like 10 times less than the male model, or like 100 times less than the girl. So if I was on Tinder, and assuming that she was even on Tinder in the first place, she probably would not have even seen my picture at all, let alone swiping it and chatting with me and ever having anything happen between us. There's about 0 chance of me ever being able to meet a girl on her level like that on Tinder. So how did I actually meet her? Basically, she was walking down the street in St. Petersburg, and I just went up and talked to her. And then 10 minutes later, we were sitting in Starbucks having coffee together. And it's not always that easy, but it is possible for that to happen on a regular basis with very attractive girls. So when everyone keeps complaining about like how looks matter, and if you're not born with good looks, then you're basically screwed. No, that's just on Tinder, which is complete garbage. And even the so-called chads on Tinder who get all the girls, what people don't realize is that in the vast majority of cases, they are not exactly dating like model quality girls. Maybe they have like an endless stream of average looking girls who they're not even even really that interested in, but that's about it. For example, even the options that came from the male model profile in my experiment, there were only about 4 or 5 girls that I would have even been interested in. And maybe they were even fake accounts too, or maybe if I actually sent them messages, then none of it would have actually resulted in anything. I don't know. But it's all basically just an illusion. And compare that to on the same day as I had that male model profile running, I actually went out and approached and talked to about 10 different girls who were just as hot or hotter than the 4 or 5 best options from the male model profile on Tinder. And I didn't do particularly well on that specific day. This was also quite a few years ago now, back in 2018. But the point is that I was actually face to face talking to these girls through my own effort that I had complete control over. And I was getting experience facing my fears and talking to hot girls rather than just sitting around and hoping and waiting for some sort of magical results to be delivered to me on a silver platter from Tinder. Another interesting thing is that recently I dated another girl who is also a fashion model who normally uses Tinder to meet guys, and she would usually date men who are rich and famous and professional athletes and stuff like that. And I asked her if it was easy for her to meet guys on Tinder, and she told me that if she's being honest, then yes, it's actually very easy. And she said that she'll sit and study a guy's profile for like 15 or 20 minutes before swiping that she likes him, because she has a 100% accuracy of getting matches with guys. Like every single time that she swipes a guy, she ends up matching with him. And that doesn't necessarily mean that she will sleep with all of them. That depends on how everything goes, but she can basically match with any guy who she wants. But despite the fact that I'm not rich or famous or a professional athlete, I was still able to be with her, and we ended up in my bed like a couple hours after I met her because I simply had the balls to go up and talk to her in real life. So basically, going back to the imbalance between male and female on Tinder that we were talking about before, the main point is that no matter what level you are at, if you take a girl of a similar level of attractiveness as you, or even more physically attractive than you, but she's someone who you could possibly date if you met her in real life, on Tinder, she will have at least 10 times, if not 100 times the options that you do. And that doesn't mean that she's going to be interested in all of them, but if you take this phenomenon as a whole, it means that in general, girls are going to tend to have access to date guys who are out of their league, while guys basically have to lower their standards in order to have any sort of success at all. It's just mathematics. Like that's how the numbers add up, but only in the world of online dating. So in other words, the real way to be successful with online dating is basically to lower your standards. That's about it. So if you would rather date hotter girls or have a girlfriend who you are actually very attracted to, then I would definitely recommend meeting girls in real life rather than online. But the biggest problem with that is that it can be very intimidating, and not even approaching girls like I've mentioned in this video, but even just talking to hot girls, period. And I just made another video where I go into the psychology of why attractive girls can be so intimidating and how you can actually be confident when you face her, and ultimately how to date hotter girls. So you can click on the video that should be on the screen right now to check it out.